Y'all have created the face of a movement where I don't think that she's right. I don't think that any child should ever be called out of their name and the N word, but at the same time, the overcorrection and the diversity, equity, and inclusion ultimately led to an uprising. And this is what you see where people thought that they were squashing and eliminating and completely reparating racism, and they overcorrected. And when black people thought that they was just going to continue to beat a dead horse and beat a dead horse and beat a dead horse, and eventually you back people into a corner, and now this is the face of a movement and an uprising where things are going to get worse. I predict that things are going to get worse before they get better. I've always believed in love, man. I've always believed that the way that you put out a fire is with water. And so you don't have to feed into it. We need to hold ourselves accountable, speak up and say, hey, we don't necessarily agree with you. For a long time, they've been censored. Now, Shiloh Hendrix is going to be the face of a movement where you see people, and this is why she's raised so much money, where you see people that say, you know what, we not scared of y'all, we not going to shut up no more, and we do believe in freedom of speech.
People often ask me, what are the ups and downs of being a YouTuber? And I guess the answer to that question varies depending on what type of content you make. For someone like me that covers the news, there are some ups, but there are a lot of downs as well. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love making these videos. And I am extremely grateful that you guys watch these videos every day. Words can't express how thankful I am for all of you all. But there are still some downs to what I do. One thing that really gets on my nerves is how short some people's attention spans are these days. Not everyone, but a lot of people out here have the attention spans of a freaking goldfish. They're used to having everything force-fed and crammed into them within the span of a 30-second TikTok video. And that is the reason why so many people have such a shallow outlook on a lot of the issues that we are facing in the world today. There are so many people that just automatically assume that a news story should entirely play out in its entirety within 3 or 4 days. And if you talk about a news story for longer than a week or so, people will accuse you of harping on, you're dragging things out, you're doing this, you're doing that. For example, I've seen comments like this when it comes to the Karmelo Anthony case. But when you look at the case, you'll understand that we still have not seen the video. There were dozens upon dozens of witnesses out there that day that saw everything happen. We have yet to hear from a single one of them yet. And the trial is still a long ways away. The Karmelo Anthony Austin Metcalf story is far from finished. Another example is the Shiloh Hendrix situation. Now, I guess this is a little more understandable. I thought that we were winding down when it came to this story as well. A lot of people saw that Shiloh got her money and they assumed that it was over. Well, guess what? It's far from over, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, the NAACP was just having a meeting with law enforcement the other day. In fact, they were just talking about Shiloh Hendrix on the local news just last night. I have a clip to show you guys in just a second. But first, if you guys support the channel, consider supporting the channel in one of many ways. You could like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, put on your notifications so you can be notified of when I upload videos. Drop a comment, become part of the conversation. Your opinions are welcome here. And always be sure to share the video. It helps the channel a lot. But if you want to take your support one step further, you could always donate via Cash App or Super Thanks. It's always needed because this platform does not support me when I speak the truth about situations like these situations that we're going to be discussing in this video. But with that being said, as I was just saying, the local news was just talking about Shiloh Hendrix last night. Everyone thinks this story is over. Yes, it's true. Shiloh has access to the money now, but they're not done coming after her. And I hope Shiloh plays it smart with that money, because they're going to try to drag her through court. They're going to try to get criminal charges on her. Listen, they are working overtime behind the scenes to still try to take Shiloh down in one way or the other. Let's go ahead and roll this clip, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
Also new here tonight at 10, the Rochester branch of the NAACP is calling on both the City of Rochester's Attorney's Office and the Olmsted County Attorney's Office to take action against Shiloh Hendrix. She is the woman who used racial slurs against a black child said to have a disability in a now since viral video. The NAACP describing Hendrix's actions as, quote, disturbing and racially motivated, before stating Hendrix traumatized, chased, and hurled vicious slurs, their words, at the child at Soldiers Field Park in Rochester last month. Tonight, the NAACP providing news media with a handful of Minnesota criminal statutes, believing they are applicable, they say, and should be considered for prosecution. They include disorderly conduct, child endangerment, and harassment. On May 5th, the Rochester Police Department said its findings on the incident had been submitted to the Rochester City Attorney's Office for review and consideration for a charging decision.
And you see, folks, people thought it was a wrap. A lot of the people supporting Shiloh, they thought it was done. Oh, job done here. Let's wrap it up. There's nothing to see here, folks. It's over. The show is over. Little do a lot of people know that the show has just begun. You see, these news stories, these issues, they don't just go away when you're tired of them. And what I've been trying to explain to people is like, yeah, I know this story has your interest right now. And next week, something else will have your interest. But this hate that we've been seeing, it's not going away. And these people who are expressing that hatred, they're not getting as sidetracked as everyone else here. No, they understand their mission, and they are still going full steam ahead with their mission. They have basically given a list of demands to the local police department, a list of all of these charges that they believe Shiloh should be charged with. So yeah, I'm happy that Shiloh has access to the money, but the show is not over here. And the people who have been trying to take her down since day one, they're still trying to take her down. In fact, now we have even more powerful organizations and stuff stepping forward, putting pressure on law enforcement to arrest Shiloh. I want to go ahead and read this article for you guys really quickly. NAACP calls for legal action against Shiloh Hendrix. The Rochester branch of the NAACP is calling on both the City of Rochester's Attorney's Office and the Olmsted County Attorney's Office to take action against Shiloh Hendrix, a woman who used racial slurs against a black child with a supposed disability. The NAACP described Hendrix's actions as disturbing and racially motivated before stating that Hendrix traumatized, chased, and hurled vicious slurs at the child at Soldiers Field Park in Rochester last month. I want to go ahead and pause right there. Because you see, while everyone was sleeping on this story thinking that it's over, these Karmelo Anthony supporters, they've been out here doing what they always do. They've been out here switching their story up, adding a little extra seasoning, adding a little more seasoning, adding a little more lies, over-embellishing things, exaggerating. We covered this story for weeks. But now all of a sudden, you step away from the story for a couple of days, and all of a sudden now, they're claiming that she chased the child through the park. Now it's not just she called the kid the N-word. Now she chased him down. I mean, it's to be expected from these people, but this is why you gotta stay focused. Because you turn away for a little bit, or you think it's over, it's not over. These people do not rest. Their hatred, it burns strongly within them. So, as we wake up and we have our own hobbies and things we like to do, this is what they like to do. They like to play victim and hate white people, basically. So the NAACP has now come forward with a list of charges. All these different things that they think that Shiloh Hendrix should be charged with. Here's the list right here. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that they believe Shiloh Hendrix should be charged with. And if you just look at this list, some of it is just, it's insane, right? Absolutely insane that they think someone should be charged with some of this stuff for saying a simple word. But this is how they feel. They feel like you should be able to stab a white child at a track meet without any repercussions. But if you say the N-word, you should be charged with all of this stuff that will put you away for years. It's crazy. But let's go forward in this article. The Rochester branch of the NAACP, President Wale Eligbidi, said it is important to protect the kids and that the kid involved in this exchange deserves justice. This is a legal matter, and it is also a moral one. Even though the law may not change the heart of a heartless adult who traumatized a vulnerable child, it can and must send a strong message. A message that our kids have rights to be protected from heartless adults who terrorize and traumatize them. The law must be used to uphold justice, and that the rights of a black child with significant support needs is one that also deserves protection and justice. We want Rochester to be a place where every person, including our black kids, can live in safety and thrive. This child, family, and our community deserve justice for the unjustified harm that was brought upon them by this adult woman. Accountability is the only way to ensure these dangerous habits of hate are curbed and have no place in Rochester, Minnesota. So, like I was saying, folks, even I kind of assumed, okay, the story's dying down. Maybe we won't hear too much else. Whew. These people are going crazy. And, I knew better. I think everyone should have known better. Like I've been saying, they're treating this like this is their 9/11, okay? This is 9/11 times 15. A white lady drops the N-word, a word that they're used to hearing nonstop because they use the word nonstop. But, oh my God, the world has to stop spinning. Everyone's got to stop what they're doing. This white lady said the N-word. She needs to be charged with severing. I can't even get the word out of my mouth. They want her to get hit with 7 different charges, folks. Not 1, not 2, not even 3. No, they want the whole entire book thrown at Shiloh Hendrix. Meanwhile, they don't want any accountability. They show no accountability for anything else. Meanwhile, they say it's okay for Karmelo to stab Austin in the chest. They say it's okay for Rodney Hinton to run over innocent police officers. All of these things are okay in their book, but the lady saying an N-word, no, she needs to be held accountable to the full extent of the law. And it shows you that these people who will cry, defund the police, we hate the police, we hate the law, it's so racist. In a heartbeat, they will try to use the law against you. In the heartbeat, they'll try to sick the police on you. Defund the police until you want the police to arrest a white lady for saying the N-word, right? Mind you, this is happening in Minnesota, which is where all of the George Floyd and BLM stuff started back in, 2020? So these same activists that literally were outside of police stations as they were getting Molotov cocktailed and stuff, these same activists now, they want the police involved, right? How dare the police arrest a violent black man for killing someone or running someone over or doing this or doing that? Oh, we can't stop anyone from looting stores, none of that. But now, oh, we need the police now. Fund the police entirely when it comes to arresting white women that are using the N-word. So, it's clear now that these people aren't going to rest. If anything, they have a new flame. Their flame has been ignited, right? Because now they know Shiloh is getting her money. And they've been putting out fake information trying to claim that some black woman stopped Shiloh's fundraiser and got it taken down, but that's fake. So they're spreading fake information while at the same time coordinating these attacks against her behind the scenes. And some of that money that she's raised, I'm hoping that she holds on to it, because they're not done trying to ruin her life. They're going to try to drag her, and I would not be surprised if they charged her with something, because that's how crazy Minnesota is, and these woke idiots will stop at nothing, okay? And I think people should have learned that by now. But hopefully the Shiloh Hendrix story will be a wake-up call for people that these people will not stop. You may stop, you may move on to other things, but they're still sticking around like a nasty little parasite, clinging on with their woke nonsense, and they're not going away anytime soon. Therefore, I'll be here calling them out as long as it's needed. But for now, you guys let me know what you think about this down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next one.